Man, when everybody starts asking about message board rumors, you know you're in it.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Joining us, Chris Gordy, host of Locked On SEC, hanging out with us for a few minutes. We'll talk about, can Auburn get out of this? Can they win some of these tough games that are coming up on their schedule coming out of the bye week? But Gordy, I mean, you've seen it. It's everywhere. I mean, Hugh Freeze not in a good spot, and we're at the point now where the message board rumors are really driving the conversation. I'm getting texts every 5 minutes like, hey, is there any truth to this? Hey, is there any truth to this? It's getting out of control. From your conference view, what do you think about Hugh Freeze and his standing with the Auburn Tigers?
Well, there's two viewpoints, as always, Zach. There's half glass full and half glass empty. Let's take half glass full first.
Okay.
You just played two incredibly tough top 10 teams on the road in the SEC, and you lost both by one score. So when you consider that, it's not so bad, because on the surface you go, Auburn is pretty damn competitive, man. Like they had the nice win over Baylor week 1. Look, let's flip it, right? Let's say they opened with Arkansas and Kentucky as their first two SEC games. They'd be 2-0 in the conference right now, I believe. And we'd be going, man, Auburn set up pretty. They're one of the best teams in the country.
Watch out.
But you'd be going, well, they got a tough road ahead. They got to go to Oklahoma. They got to go to A&M. They got to play Georgia. Like, it's all about the moment of where you are. So right now, yeah, it looks dire. But if you flipped in and they played Arkansas and Kentucky first, they'd be undefeated. We'd be going, oh my God, Hugh Freeze has turned this team around. So that's the glass half full. The glass half empty is, God, the offensive line has been abysmal, and the offense has really struggled. And, it's okay. Look, I think Jackson Arnold is still a pretty good passer, but he hasn't had time. And when he's had time, he's been hesitant. He's held the ball too long. So there's a lot of that as well. But again, we're looking this at it through a lens of, you were on the road in two hostile environments against top 10 teams. So that's where it's like, look, I know you're getting Georgia next. Georgia does not look like Georgia right now. So we'll see what they do this weekend. I'm sure they'll look much better against Kentucky.
Sorry to cut you, but on the other side of that, Missouri at home, Missouri way tougher than I thought. I think than most people thought. Vanderbilt, I think they're a good football team. And so and then obviously, Alabama. I think Auburn beats Arkansas. I think they beat Kentucky. But that's, I don't know. I don't know how great the footing is, but you're absolutely right. And in fact, going into the season, and we've talked about this throughout the week, going into the season, I picked Auburn to lose to Oklahoma, lose to A&M, and lose to Georgia, and then went out to the Iron Bowl. But it's the way that they lost. Like, there being no hope whatsoever on the offensive side of the ball. Going 0 for 13 on third down. And like constantly playing behind the sticks, Hugh Freeze being absolutely unwilling to run the football. It's that stuff that's bothering me more than the actual outcome of the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm close to some LSU folks, and they're going through the same thing right now, going, oh my God, they didn't even try to run the ball against Ole Miss. They suck at running the football. Garrett Nussmeier looks hurt and all this. Again, I think this is all a circumstance of winning on the road in the SEC is tough. When those schedules come out, the first thing I look for is, who are you playing on the road and how navigatable is that? And I know this, LSU just lost to Ole Miss and they looked abysmal. If LSU plays that game in Baton Rouge, which they did a year ago, they look great. They won that game against Ole Miss last year. I think where Auburn is going to miraculously, call me crazy, Zach, the offense is going to look better all of a sudden against Georgia and Mizzou, because they're at home. The venue matters that much in the SEC. We saw so many home underdogs last year in the SEC.
So you think Hugh Freeze's play calling will magically make more sense? Or you think Jackson Arnold will be like, you know what? I am going to throw the ball on time. I'm going to do it because I'm in Jordan-Hare Stadium.
I think execution. I think there were plays to be had in both those games. I'm not saying they were one play away, but again, when you lose by 6 and you lose by 7, you technically are one play away from winning those games. So, yeah, I just think the execution is going to be a lot better. Will there be more lanes, more running lanes and holes opening up in the run game? I don't know. We'll see on that, but yeah, I just think the hostile environments on the road play a factor. Certainly played a factor. Look, Auburn's defense has been great. I mean, their defense, DJ,
been awesome. Yeah,
been fantastic. They are going to keep them in games. I think the offense is going to be better at home, and I get it. It's 2 top 20 opponents in Georgia and Mizzou, but I just think the offense is going to execute a lot better at home.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned going on the road, and we talked about this when the future, I don't want to say schedules dropped, but the future opponents dropped. And like, here's Auburn's in 2026. They go to Bama, to Georgia, to Ole Miss, to Mississippi State, to Tennessee.
Oof.
It's like the pressure all of a sudden on this season to be successful, I think goes up even more, because if you can't, that was one of my big arguments pro Auburn in the offseason was this is a manageable schedule. And while it's tougher now than it was going in because Missouri has been better and Vandy hasn't fallen off, they've taken another step forward. And I still think Arkansas is better. They've just played tough opponents that are better than them. Like, I don't think Arkansas is like inherently a bad team. And you go to Fayetteville. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with that. But that was part of my argument being pro Auburn, is this schedule is, from an SEC standpoint, pretty manageable. Now, the toughest part of it arguably is behind you. Like, you made that argument. But to think about, okay, if you don't win and what could happen to this roster in the offseason, and then you have that schedule coming up next year, that's tough, Gordy. That's a tough spot.
Yeah. Look, that's the tough part of being an SEC fan, is everybody we want to beat our chest and say we're the best conference. We want to go to 9 conference games. We want 6 home games. We want all this, but don't bitch when your team loses 5 games. Like, because this is the world you're entering when everybody is, not equal, but like it's as level a playing field as we've ever had in the SEC, where the worst team could beat the best team on any given day.
Right.
This is the world you enter, and not everybody can be good. I think Sam Pittman coaching at Wisconsin maybe wins 9 games a year. Sam Pittman, the SEC, not very good. He got fired. No. Billy Napier, I thought was a damn good coach at Louisiana. We're finding out Florida, it's too big for him. But their schedule's been absolutely atrocious. I mean, like, super hard.
Yeah.
So that's the tough part of it is as an Auburn fan, yeah, hey, look at this home slate. We got some good games and all this. Like, I look at that slate for next year, Zach, and I go, those 5 road games are all potential losses. Like, Mississippi State, we'll see how much better they get by next year. But like, I could look at that schedule just on the surface, Zach, and say it's 4 losses there, unless Deuce Knight is the next Johnny Manziel or something, that'd be
great.
It's going to be brutal. So, all you're asking for, Hugh, is to get the train back on the track, hold serve these next 2 home games. Again, it's going to be tough, but I look at the backstretch of that schedule. You mentioned Arkansas. We'll see if they're better with Bobby Petrino taking over. I don't know if they will be. Kentucky, Mark Stoops may be fired by November 1st. And Vanderbilt on November 8th. I know you got to go there, but Vanderbilt right now looks awesome. Their next stretch of Bama, LSU, like their next stretch of games, I think they'll be spiraling by that point. And spiraling in a sense of they'll have a couple losses.
Yeah.
They're not playing for a playoff spot by that point. And then you get Mercer, and that's the Iron Bowl. I can make a case, Zach, that Auburn could win these next 6. I don't think it's likely. But
let's jump more into that, because the opportunity to fix everything is absolutely there. That's next right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table or maybe making decisions that don't fully make sense because you don't have a full picture of your financial situation. Monarch Money is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch's for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all of your accounts in one place. It also helps with your budgeting. You can set goals. It's great. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com. Use promo code LOCKEDONCollege. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Square, your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. There are certain businesses that just make the neighborhood the neighborhood. These are the places that become an extension of home, whether it's the sports bar dedicated to, pulling for those Auburn Tigers, or the spot with the best wings in town for game day, or, the coffee spot that knows your drink and your order as soon as you walk in the door. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/LockedOnCollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square. See you in the neighborhood. Chris Gordy, host of Locked On SEC, hanging out with us. The road ahead is tough. The road behind you has been tough, but the opportunity to get things right is certainly on the table. If Auburn beats Georgia coming off of a bye week, Georgia coming off of Alabama, and then they play Kentucky, which that game's always super close for some reason, it feels like. You get them at home. It's Cam Newton retirement jersey night. That's a big deal. There's something about Auburn when Cam Newton's in the stadium, Auburn doesn't lose. If you win that, everybody just kind of takes a collective breath and it's like, oh, okay. All right. Well, if we can beat Georgia, we beat Missouri. If we can beat Missouri, we can beat Arkansas. If we can beat those teams, we can beat Vanderbilt. And all of a sudden, the Iron Bowl becomes super, super important. I'm not saying that's likely, but there is a path to all of this kind of being okay.
Yeah, the crazy part to think, Zach, is, and I'm with you. As soon as they announced Cam Newton retirement ceremony is the Georgia game, I said, "Oh, that is going to be that crowd is going to be electric." Insane. I mean, outside of Brock Bowers doing Brock Bauer things 2 years ago, Auburn was in that game till the fourth quarter. I mean, they had a chance. So the defense is going to give you a chance. Gunnar Stockton's been pretty good so far, but Bama, I thought, kind of exposed them as they're still trying to figure out how to run the ball consistently. The offensive line is not protecting very well. So Georgia's got some warts there. And defensively, they're not as stout as they once were. Alabama was, Ty Simpson was having his way with them in that first half. So Georgia certainly got some weaknesses. And think about this, Zach. Mizzou on October 18th, that is their first road game of the season. October 18th. We're almost to Halloween, and Mizzou will have not left their stadium yet. They got
is that true?
Yeah, their whole first slate of games was at home.
Wow.
Including Alabama. That'll be coming up on the 11th. But
so that'll be Bo Prabula's first road start.
Yeah. Mizzou, 4 of their last 6 games are all on the road. So
wow. I
know we're hyping up Mizzou, but who have they beaten? Kansas, South Carolina, UMass. Look, Mizzou's look great. Ahmad Hardy's been awesome, 100 yards rushing every game so far, but this reeks a little bit of overhype. Again, I go back to who have you played? If Auburn had played Mizzou's schedule so far, Auburn would be undefeated. Like, I don't know how to keep stressing this. Like, we freak out over losses, but understand, look at the teams who've played nobodies. Like, we got to expose the people who've played nobody so far. So, again, this is doable for Auburn. And I'll just say it. Yeah, you have to beat Arkansas on the road with no coach. They're a mess. That defense is god awful.
It's really bad.
Kentucky is a mess. They can't do anything well. They run the football okay. Defense not very good. Quarterback stinks. And then that Vandy game, like I said, where is Vandy when you get to that? I just think there is a case. And look, the problem is, can they go 5-0 in the next 5? Yes. But if you go 4-1, it just kind of sucks, because having that third loss, what are you really playing for? You go into the Iron Bowl going, well, guys, we win this, we're going Outback Bowl. That's where it kind of becomes, what are you doing? Because we've conditioned ourselves now to be playoff or bust. And then the question will become, at 9-3, if they do that, does Auburn have a good enough resume to get in? Now, look, if Alabama's still a top 10 team and they beat them in the Iron Bowl, maybe that's enough of a resume win to bump them up and go.
And what happens if Oklahoma keeps doing what they're doing, assuming they can hold serve with John Mateers out, and A&M continues to be a top 10 team, and Georgia makes the postseason? It's like, well, if those are your 3 losses all in a row and you beat everybody else, like,
The problem
I'm not saying they get
becomes
in, but like there's an argument.
the problem becomes you're going to have probably 2 or 3, 11-1, 10-2 teams from the SEC, and then a whole hodgepodge of 9-3s. And where does Auburn fall in the pecking order in that? So that's where, it kind of really gets, then you really start comparing resumes.
No, you're right.
It'd be great if Baylor wanted to run them wins and make that non-conference win look a little bit better.
Yeah, that would have been nice. That looked really good after they beat SMU, but I don't know how good all those teams are over there. So we'll see. We'll see. This has been way more positive from you than I expected. I'm not gonna lie.
Because again, I think we just need to take our step back sometimes and go, what have they done? And what would anybody else have done in this scenario? I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying the offenses look great. We know it does not look great. I thought Arnold would look a lot better. But now you come back home in the friendly confines, I say, and I'll pose this question. Who's Auburn's best player, Zach, on offense?
So far this year, it's probably been Eric Singleton.
Okay, him and Cam Coleman, get the ball into their hands and let's go. What are we doing here? And if it's a time of, we don't have the time, we didn't have the protection to get it downfield, run some short crossers, man. Get some kind of motion, run some screens, get something going where you can get the ball to the best
or run a screen on first down. Don't run it when it's 3rd and 18 or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, everybody always thinks big play, Cam Coleman, Erickson, we got to push it. We got to push it down the field. You don't need the 50-yard bombs. Give me the quick, the 5-yard pass that turns into a 50-yard pass because these guys have breakaway speed. Right. And again, I just think, I think the word is execution. They will execute much, much better at home. They have to.
Yeah, they have to. You're right. Chris Gordy, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
Yeah, Locked On SEC, wherever you get your podcasts. It's been a lot of fun. Have had some great guests over the last couple of weeks. Sam Acho, Tim Tebow, Holly Rowe have all joined us. We're doing our celebrity guest picker segment on Fridays. So been a lot of fun. Locked On SEC.
Yeah, go give Gordy some love over at Locked On SEC. Very clear opinion on Auburn. I think we love that. We love that here. Level-headedness is nice.
Look, they lose the next 3-4 in a row. Hugh's fired. So
yes. For sure. That's correct. Please like the video. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.